Hi my darlings, welcome back. This is going to be Corporate Babe 101, getting back into routine and starting your 2025 off right. So we all want to have a good 2025, right? We want to be successful, we want to be progressive, we want to be, happy, we want to make and create an abundance of memories. But every single time we go into this loop of setting these excessive goals, and then you almost feel so overwhelmed that you don't achieve any of them, or you achieve them but to a very mediocre level, and that is not gonna cut it for 2025. So I know that being in corporate can sometimes make you feel like your life has to revolve around your work, but I will tell you firsthand from experience, although I do have a corporate job, I can live a life outside of that, create memories, and just live life in abundance. So I'm gonna walk you through what I plan to do to make sure that this 2025 is filled with happiness, blessings, progression, productivity, but also memories, enjoyment, vacation, all those different things. So let's get into it. First thing I'm going to mention is your mindset. I feel like a lot of people talk down on themselves before anybody else even gets the opportunity to. You are your biggest enemy. Stop talking down on yourself. So I can never get that, I can never build that business, I can never get that job, I can never lose 10 pounds, whatever it may be. Stop doubting yourself and your abilities, because at the end of the day, no one's going to want it harder than yourself. If you already don't believe that you can achieve it, then babe, I promise you won't, because you already don't believe in yourself. You can't expect others to carry you and push you to do things. We're not in school anymore. Grow up. I'm so sorry, that sounds so horrible. But honestly, we're not in school anymore. Someone can't spoon feed you, someone can't hold your hand along the way. That is the scary part of life, but the reality is you just need to grow up, get a grip, stop having that mindset, and think highly of yourself. You are the only one that can accomplish what you want for yourself. So if you're already speaking down on yourself and you're doubting yourself, then you're not going to get far. So you need to start there. And there's that common saying that there's so much power in the tongue, and I really do believe that. Stop speaking so negatively about yourself. Stop negatively complimenting yourself. Stop associating yourself with any type of negativity, pretty much. Kind of want to go from the mindset of thinking about the highest version of yourself, who you want to be, the woman that you want to show up as, or the man you want to show up as, and start acting as her. Start thinking about what would her mindset be in the morning, how would she think. Stop idolizing other people and idolize the future you that you want to become, and just start showing up as her, start showing up as him. Another way to help with this, I know some people tend to do one of the three, so either journaling, affirmations, or mood boards. I'm not going to push a specific one on you. I feel like any one of the three will do the job. So whether it's journaling, whether it's affirmations, whether it's a mood board, any of the three are really good to kind of take on to just help you boost your mindset. I know that I'm very much a visual person, so I tend to go for a mood board. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Do what you can with it. It can be what you want it to be. So yeah, I would say start with one of those three in terms of like boosting your mindset. The second thing I'm going to mention is decluttering your space. I feel like there's such a therapeutic thing when it comes to cleaning and just cleaning out your space and knowing exactly where everything is. I know some people definitely thrive off organized mess, but I'm just really not one of those people. So if you are, that's fine, but that doesn't mean you don't need to clean your space. I think it's so important to clean out your clothes, old clothes that are no longer the you that you want to become or that you're showing up as, whether that be putting them up on Vinted or Depop, clearing out your desk, wherever your work from home setup is, your bedroom, just all of that stuff. I think it's so important to declutter, get rid of old things, make sure everything in your room or in your intimate spaces are just very clean, because then a clean face, a clean head, a clean mind, fresh start. And that's kind of what we're going for. I think it's so important to also do like a digital clean out. So I'm talking deleting old screenshots, deleting old videos and footage. I know myself, I'm a content creator. I have a bajillion of videos that are just sitting on my camera roll for no reason. So I'm definitely going to be spending the last week of the year clearing all of that out. Just starting on a really fresh, clean slate digitally. If that's moving over storage, if that's updating my iOS or my Apple or my laptop or whatever it may be. Yeah, I think it's just so important. And the next thing I'm going to say is reflecting on your year. I think before we can even get into goal setting, you need to understand how the year went, why it went that way. If anything unexpected happened during the year, why did that happen? Why did that throw you off balance? Did you have a really productive and progressive month or quarter, and then the rest of the quarter or the next quarter not so much? I think it's so important to kind of self-analyze, okay, where do I always mess up? Like what point of the month, what month in the year did things just always go left for me? And is this a repeated pattern, repeated behavior? Can I really put a pin in it? Can I stop that? So reflect on your year, note down or jot down things that are repeated behavior, things that you want to get better at, things that may have thrown you off. So again, some circumstances are out of your control. Things like a passing, that's different. You have a lot of emotions that you're kind of processing, that will throw anyone off, that's normal. I'm talking things like, you know that you're very consistent with the gym for the first 3 months of the year, but you always fall off in April. Why is that? Can we fix that? What is the behavior, like why is it the shift in weather? Can I fix that by buying myself a thicker coat? Like things as simple as that. Honestly, just by pinpointing, okay, where does it actually go wrong? Why does it go wrong that time? So yeah, some things are very much out of your control, things like a passing or maybe a breakup, whatever it may be. So once you now reflect on your year and you know your weak points, you know your repeated behavior, and you know what you want to do better for next year, then we're going to go into goal setting. So I obviously work in corporate, so I'm going to say that again as a disclaimer. I know people like to do their goals differently. There's many different methods and theories for doing their goals, but this is how I do it. I do it on a quarter basis because I work in quarters at work, therefore we're going to work in quarters with my goals so that I'm able to track my career progression as well as my life progression and what I'm doing outside of that simultaneously. So a lot of the time I've realized when people set goals and they've achieved them, you kind of fall into this post-goal depression. I know firsthand, I experienced this when I finished my degree. So I submitted my dissertation, I finally did my EPA, I graduated. I, by the way, got a first class with a distinction in my dissertation, might I add. Yeah, so once I'd achieved all of those things, I felt so numb. I couldn't explain it. Like I felt so confused as to what I'm supposed to do with my time now. I felt almost, what now? Like I've achieved something that I've been working for about 3 solid years, and it took everything out of me. And now that I don't have that to strive towards, what do I do with my time? So I was trying to decide, do I need to relax now? Should I be working harder? Should I be thinking of a side project? Should I be being way more consistent with my content? Should I be taking a break altogether? Or should I fly out and go on vacation? You know, what do I do with my time, basically, was what I was trying to figure out. And I knew I had so much left that I wanted to accomplish with my career as well. So it made it difficult for me to accept that I should just be proud of the moment. I really had to learn how to enjoy the in-between phase, which is essentially the time between one win to a next win. So that might be a few months, that might be a few weeks, that might be a few years, but you need to be able to really enjoy the in-between. Otherwise you won't live life until you're on a high, and you can't always be on a high. Life works in peaks and troughs, and that just so happened to be my trough, even though I thought it should have been a peak because I just finished. So yeah, that was interesting for me. So I feel like one thing that you want to do to avoid that post-goal depression, which tends to happen after you've achieved something, is first of all, I want you to get a piece of paper, do a complete brain dump. I want you to put down everything that you want to achieve next year, everything that you want to work on, and I want you to think big. Don't limit yourself, like I said, mindset. Think big, dream big, and write down everything you want to accomplish next year. Like write down all your goals. Then I'm going to ask you to choose about 10 of those goals you've written down and rank them 1 through 10 in terms of priority. 1 being the most important and 10 being the least important. And then the one that you've ranked at the top, or even your top 2, depending on how big they are, those are going to be your main focus for the year. So I'm very big on not overwhelming yourself with too many things to accomplish. Focus on 2, hone in on 2 things, and really be successful at them this year. This is your year to get it right. So these can be goals, anything from, I don't know, I want to write a book by the end of the year. I want to be an author. I want to land my job in tech. I want to be a software developer. Or I want to start my business. Or I want to start trading. I want to understand crypto. Or even if you're still a student, I want to ace my A-levels. I want amazing grades. Whatever your goal may be, it is specific to you. So I'm going to carry on this example given the concept that I've only chosen 1 goal. So with that 1 goal, we're going to break it down even further. So we're working backwards. So we're doing a top-down view. I want to break the 1 goal down into 4 main key milestones. So those 4 main milestones are going to turn into your Q1, your Q2, your Q3, and your Q4. Again, we're working in quarters. That's not the end. We're going to break that down even further and break this down into weeks. Once you've broken that into weeks per quarter, you're going to hone in on your habits that you need to establish for each quarter. And the reason why this is so important is because a lot of people have the assumption that okay, I know what my goal says I need to do, so I know what I'm doing. Without realizing that a lot of you achieving your goals is about the daily habits that you have to sustain your work ethic to achieve what you want to achieve, and being very disciplined with that. So it might be a habit of, okay, I know that with my corporate job, for example, I work a 9 to 5, meaning that 9 to 5 is consistently blocked out. But I've also sometimes got to commute to work and sometimes got to commute back home. So that would be a 7 to 7. That's blocked out. And from there, I can see, okay, I know Q1 and Q2, it gets dark early. And I know I'm good at waking up early during the winter months. So I know that Q1 and Q2, my habit to sustain will be waking up early, because I know that I can now use those extra hours to put towards one of my goals and then get to work. Vice versa, if you are a night owl, I know I'm a night owl during summer. So during summertime, I know that my habits and priorities will shift because I know what my habits are like during the summer seasons. So that's just a bit of an example as to what I mean by your daily habits. If fitness is one of your goals, it might be a step count that you want to achieve per week. The reason why I'm not breaking it down all the way to daily habits is because I feel like a lot of the time, if you feel like you've missed something in a day, you feel like you need to start all over, and that's not the case. So I'm going to do it by week, because realistically, a week is enough time to measure your progress. So say my one goal was to build a full stack project in Python, and I had no Python experience previously. I would write that down into Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Q1 might be understanding the basics of Python. Q2 might be understanding how to use Git with Python, or it might be understand front-end development. Q3 might be how to build the projects I want to. Break that then further down into week 1, week 2, week 3, whatever in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And then that way I would say, okay, winter, I sleep early, I can be up early. I'll get 2 hours of coding done before work every day, or at least 4 times a week. And then again, I'll use that week at the end of the week as my point of measurement to see the progress of the week. So that's kind of the summary as to how I'm breaking down my goals for the year. Then the next thing I want to mention is reassessing your work-life balance. I think this is so important because, again, with corporate, if we're being so honest, sometimes it's draining. Sometimes you come home from work and you don't have the capacity to do anything else. You just about have time to eat, to chill for maybe an hour or two, and then you're already tired, so to the point where you just need to sleep. And that's okay. I think the point of this is not to push yourself so hard where you're always on the go and you never have a chance to kind of recuperate and reset. That's not the case, otherwise you're going to reach burnout. The point of this is to have intention with your year. So when I say reassessing your work-life balance, I mean more setting boundaries to prevent burnout, literally. Just so I know, for me, one of my work-life balance goals for the year is to take some type of annual leave at the end of each quarter. Because what I tend to do, which I don't know why I always do it, because I'm always stressed out afterwards, is that I will take off annual leave somewhere during Q1 or Q2, maybe like 4 or 5 days, and then I will gatekeep onto all my annual leave until November, December time. And I don't know why I do it. Like, realistically, I've only had time off this last week, and everything before that I'd only been off. The last time I was off work was in April. I've been on the go since April. That's ridiculous. So I learned that for myself. So for myself, my goal for this work-life balance, my boundary is to take annual leave at the end of Q1, Q2 and Q3, or at least take some type of annual leave during that time period. And then also for some people, it might be, you know, not drinking at work events, because I know sometimes, you know, that can impact if you're a degree apprentice, that can sometimes impact, you know, your study day the next day, because a lot of work drink events are on a Thursday. You'll have uni on the next day. The next thing I want to mention is staying disciplined and consistent, which is definitely a lot easier said than done. But because discipline kind of requires a deeper level of focus and a bit more of an explanation, I'm gonna maybe do a separate video on that. But the main thing with discipline is understanding that it's not always going to look perfect. Like, sometimes discipline is knowing how to reset. So we'll go into that in further detail in a separate video. And the very last thing that I want to mention are kind of almost check-in points. I feel like in a year you can learn so much and so much can happen, to the point where it's hard to account for everything that goes on. It's hard to kind of measure, okay, this was really productive, this was really successful, this wasn't so much, and why. So I would say adding in like a check-in point at the end of each Q, so Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, even just a check-in point with, you know, your friends. Like, have you seen your friends? Have you been spending time with people? Have you been spending time with your family? Have you, you know, are you really missing the feeling of a holiday? Do you need to reassess your current quarter. And that's okay. I think don't go into the year thinking everything has to be super planned out, super organized, because that will be your downfall. Because things don't go to plan, you'll feel thrown off, and that is where people lose their discipline. So the most important thing here is give yourself grace, give yourself a check-in point, whether that be a girls' night, whether that be a cozy night in, or a spa date with your significant other or your partner, whatever it is, just make sure that you have some type of check-in point to look forward to, because at the end of the day, you're going to be pushing yourself so much this year. So give yourself grace, give yourself something to look forward to. So that is pretty much everything that I wanted to cover in this video. This is exactly how you're going to set up your 2025 off right, whether you work a corporate job or not. But if you are working in corporate, this will be literally your blueprint to living a life as well as being very progressive at work. And I'm your living example that it is possible. You just have to be very intentional with your year, and that is what we're going to be doing. If you have any more questions or anything else I can help with, please drop them down in the comments below. I created a PDF to help you out with the goal setting point, so that it breaks it down into Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 and by week, and then there'll be a section for habits as well, just to help you out. If you want to have access to that, then just click the link in my bio. I'll have it on the screen somewhere here. And I hope, again, this was super helpful, and I will see you in the next Corporate Babe episode. Goodbye, my darlings.